On day 6, students will be introduced to the culminating project for this unit. Even though it's only the second week of the unit, it's important for students to know where the unit is headed. It gives their learning a sense of direction and purpose, and it provides opportunities to reflect and make connections at the end of each task. Climate change can be a difficult topic, especially because the news is mostly distressing. It's important for us to make sure that students walk away more knowledgeable, but also hopeful and with a sense of agency. The culminating project for this unit provides students an opportunity for just that. They will be creating a proposal for their school to reduce its impact on climate change. It's important to note that this can and should be a real project. That is, to the extent that it's possible for you and your students, let your students make it happen. Rather than just present to each other for an in-class project, find out, or better yet, have students find out, who the students can present to in order to make their plans a reality. This could be a school board, but it could just as well be the principal or other administration, a parent association, a green team, any organization that has the power to help students make their plans actually happen. Doing so will raise the stakes for this project dramatically, which will also increase student engagement. And it will help students develop that sense of agency that they have the power to do something about climate change. Now, let's get into the requirements for this project. Here's the situation given in the project organizer. Global climate change poses serious challenges to people, other species, how much food we can grow, and the economy. The more we do today to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, the more we can reduce these effects. The school board would like the district or school to do their part. We will be holding a special session to hear proposals that provide ideas for reducing the production of greenhouse gases by the school and the district. Of course, you should determine which organization or body your students can present to and insert their name rather than school board, if you're able to do this as a real action project. Students will be working in groups for this project, for part of it, and then will be making their presentations together. The group presentations should be brief, only 3 to 4 minutes, but they need to be engaging and well rehearsed. After all, they are actually presenting to real adults in real positions of power. All group members need to participate, which means they'll need to practice. The presentation should also have visual components. Students will need to show data and other information to persuade the people they're presenting to. To prepare, students will create presentation outlines and write scripts, then rehearse before their final presentations. So what should go in these presentations? Well, first and foremost, students need to outline what classroom or school behaviors or equipment need to be changed. This recommendation needs to be backed up with actual data and evidence that the solution they're proposing will be effective. The plan also needs to reduce emissions or somehow reduce the impact on climate change from the school. For example, it's likely that some students will come up with the idea to make posters to inform people or raise awareness about the consequences of inaction when it comes to climate change, or they might just encourage other students to recycle. However, these actions, these posters, will probably not have any real impact on the school's emission of greenhouse gases, or, for example, the necessity of buying more single-use materials if students are promoting recycling. That could be considered part of the school's impact. Students also need to research and present the costs associated with implementing their plan. If it's possible to find out, it could also be very persuasive to present the costs of not implementing their plan. In other words, students could present how their plan will save money. Students need to outline the challenges of their plan and other potential benefits, as well as where students obtained their information. Finally, students need to be prepared to respond to tough questions and pushback from community members who may be resistant to making any changes, let alone a student's proposed solution. What questions and concerns can students anticipate facing after making their presentations? Just as in the culminating project for the prior unit, this project has an individual component as well as a group component. Individually, students will be writing a short article to support their group's plan. The two components go together very nicely, with the individual component based on and demonstrating much of the research that will go into the group presentation. This will allow you to assess individual students' levels of understanding of the content from the unit, as well as give groups a way to provide even more support for their plan. If your school has an in-house publication, such as a student newspaper or even a parent or PTA newsletter, then perhaps some students can publish their articles there. Otherwise, you and your students may have success reaching out to small community publications outside the school if students actually want to publish their articles. The purpose of the article is to inform the public about the plans that groups are presenting. The article must include a description of how and why climate change is happening. It should detail the group's plan, as well as how the plan will reduce classroom or school CO2 emissions and what challenges they will likely face. To prepare, students will write an outline and receive peer feedback, then go through another round of feedback after writing a first draft. Next, they'll prepare a final version for publication. To inspire students and perhaps give them some ideas, show them the video on slide 9 of the lesson for day 6. It's an episode called Dreaming in Green from the series Young Voices for the Planet, and it details a project by several 6th grade students at George Washington Carver Middle School in Florida. After learning about the potential effects of rising sea levels on the city of Miami, the students partnered with a local nonprofit called Dream in Green and helped their school conduct an energy audit. They installed weather stripping around the doors and windows to keep air-conditioned air inside. They got the roof of the school painted white, which also helped the school stay cool without adding additional energy costs. They worked with school staff and the community to make changes outside of just their own classroom. Not only did this help their school reduce its impact on climate change, it also saved their school a lot of money in energy costs. The students presented their ideas to school board members, showing them real data and financial projections to persuade those members that reducing energy consumption is possible and doesn't take a Herculean effort or great cost. In fact, they estimated that if every school in the district made the same changes they did, it would save over $30 million. Truly a win-win for their community. And just imagine how these students felt making presentations to real community stakeholders and seeing their proposed changes implemented and seeing the positive effects. Your students can have that experience as well, as long as you find ways for them to present their ideas and make sure that students' ideas that they're proposing are actually feasible. So help your students brainstorm ideas, and even more importantly, help them find ways to make their project more than just a class assignment. Who can they actually talk to in order to make their ideas a reality? What can actually be accomplished? The more students ground their ideas in reality, the stronger their projects can be, and the more possible it will be for them to make a real difference in their community.